Good evening. Good evening. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pivot Call. It's Friday night, so you know what that means. You get to talk to Andretta and I. We get a chance to come to you and share with you just our heart and our topic that we decided to talk about tonight. So I hope that you all will enjoy what we have to share tonight, and that you also can also relate to and understand it. So, hi, Andretta. I'm going to introduce Andretta. Hey, how are you? Hope you're doing well tonight, ma'am. So today's topic is how to dream again, rediscovering what God planted inside of you. So the reason why I came up with this topic and how we came up with this topic was that I was listening to the Clubhouse room one night, and it was actually it was during the morning time, and they were talking about dreams. And as chance would have it, excuse me for one moment.
All right, guys. Hey, I'm just going to hop in here while Heather, as you guys can hear, you guys are familiar with us. You know, William and Heather has to go just check on him, make sure he's okay. So, anyway, we are talking about tonight, as Heather stated, rediscovering what God has planted on the inside of you. And we are praying that this show really hits you exactly where it needs to as it relates to the things that God has placed on your heart. As we go throughout life, we find ourselves in positions where I think on a show before we talked about the things that we have dreamed about, some of our hopes, our visions, just where we thought we would be in different times of our lives. And a lot of times, some of those things don't happen the way that we desire for them to. Knowing how to deal with that, knowing how to come to the place of understanding about that, knowing how to enter into the right perspective about those dreams, those visions, and all that God has placed inside of you, and what to do to rediscover, reignite, to set ablaze and aflame those things that God has, that used to burn deep within you. And so, if you're anything like us, I know that you know what that feels like, and I know that you're aware of what it feels like to walk through that. And so, those are some of the things. And Heather's back with us. Those are some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight.
Yes, so I was in Clubhouse the other morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, and they were talking about dreams and how dreams, as children, we dream a lot. We used to dream a lot, and they made a comment about there was a lady who was in there, and she said, I remember being in the car with my cousins and saying, "That's my car. That's my dream car. That's my dream car, and that's my dream house," and competing with each other, talking about their dreams, and it made me start thinking about all the dreams that I had as a child and what happened to those dreams. And I can remember growing up, I wanted to be two things in life. I wanted to be an astronaut. I'm from Florida, so let me preface this. I'm from Florida, and after going to space camp for this one summer, I fell in love with the thought of being an astronaut. Clearly, that didn't happen. But I also had a dream of being a veterinarian because I love animals and I love taking care of things and people and animals specifically. And even though those dreams didn't come to fruition, I can remember how I felt, um, having those dreams and having thinking about the things that I could possibly do. And it's very interesting as an adult. Now I reflect back on when I was a child and how freely I felt the need and or just, the freedom to dream. And as an adult, I lost that somewhere along the line, growing up, or going to school or getting married. I'm not sure where it happened actually, but I lost the the thought or even the ability to dream again. And it was kind of interesting when I got on this clubhouse room that it reminded me a lot of my past and the things that I dreamed about. So, Andrea, how about you? When you were a child, did you dream of anything or dream about being anything, doing anything?
Yeah, I did. When I was younger, I thought for some reason I had in my head I would be a doctor, and I actually took that because I had a thing for science, and I just thought surely I'm going to go be a doctor. That's what I'm going to be. All up until I graduated and got to college, and the math prerequisites came out, and I decided that indeed being a doctor is not what the Lord would have me to do. But yeah, so I thought that's what I wanted to be, and then my early years. I've been in ministry for, since I was 19, but I did have a much larger dream in ministry for that. I thought at this stage in my life, I'd probably be leading a church or a congregation with my husband, different things like that. That was our original dream. And, things just didn't necessarily work out that way, but that's what we wanted to do. So I definitely, even as a young girl up into early years as a young woman had thoughts and dreams of things that I wanted to do. Although I'm still in ministry, it's not quite the same exact dream, but that's kind of where I was. So I definitely had those things as well.
Yes. So, it I think when you start talking about Karen,
That's right, Karen.
when you start talking about dreams and what those dreams mean, I think you can look at it in several ways, but I think we look at it as the gifts that God gave us
Mhm.
and how you use those gifts, um, and incorporate them into your purpose, and then how you use it in order to dream. Some people, um because of life and because of life situations and circumstances, it takes them off course, and when it takes you off course, then it becomes harder for you to actually settle into what God placed inside of you. It actually makes it harder sometimes for you to even remember what God placed inside of you, the gifts that He placed inside of you. So, my question for you, Andretta, and for the folks who are watching, is do you believe that, or have you ever felt that your dream was forfeited, or your dream was delayed, or that your dream was dead?
Hmm. Yes, I have. I felt. I probably at some point in my life have felt all three, but at different stages of my life. Definitely the doctor thing died, and I took a shovel and buried that one on my own. That was voluntary. I smothered it out like so. Definitely, when we talk about as far as that particular early dream, when I just hadn't done the research, I didn't know. It just was like a thought in my head. So yeah, that was definitely a death, and but that was more of a murder than a death, to be honest. And so I'll say that. But as far as definitely felt like that I experienced some delay, certainly. And then perhaps delay turned into, okay, well, maybe that's not what I'm going to do. You know what I'm saying? And coming into the place where um, I had to understand that maybe that's not the path I'm going to take,
Yeah.
and having to trust God that whatever path I'm on at that moment, that maybe God would lead me into another revival of that, or God would bring me to the place of, seeing a different type of a dream that I never could have imagined dreaming on my own. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
I've definitely been through all three of those at some point in my life.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. I know that I have been through those three. I definitely gave up the vet thing. I think for me, for you, it was the math. For me, it was being in the science lab all day and all night. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So
Mhm.
that's not gonna work. So that was definitely I definitely killed that one. And the I also I love music and have been singing for a long time, but and I got an opportunity to do some things within it. Uh, but at the time when I did it, I thought that I should have been a little bit further along. So then it kind of, some things delayed. So I felt that delay. Um, and, I think when we experience that, I know for me, I felt defeated and I felt like I, I almost didn't have a purpose, because I didn't know, what was the purpose of dreaming if those dreams never came to be. But I understand now that, that's not the case, and that is not, you're supposed to continue to dream, and you're
Hmm.
supposed to continue to find out what your passions are and your purpose is in this life. And I don't know if we talk about it a lot. I don't know if we talk about it with our friends. I don't know if we talk about it with our families, about, you know, what you really want, and how your dreams, how people can support you in your dreams. I don't know if we really talk about that. And
Hmm.
people start to bury it down, and then the next thing you know is that they don't even know how to dream anymore.
Hmm.
So I I think when it comes to dreams and how to dream again, I think you have to look at some parameters. You have to know that God did plant something inside of you, first of all. Uh, and then I think you have to acknowledge that you want to rediscover what that is if you don't know what it is.
Hmm.
And it's okay to say that you don't know.
Hmm.
It's okay, because life within life, things happen, and it
Yeah.
can shift you so much that you don't even know.
Right.
So it's okay to say you don't know, and then it's okay to ask God to reveal it to you again.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I would say this. I think you said some key things about talking about it, and really spending time speaking to family and friends about those things that you have on your heart, so that the people around you can help keep you accountable and keep you supported and keep you encouraged, about what it is that your dreams are. I think
Mhm.
that's key because for me, I never really told people around me what I was thinking or what was in my heart to do. I just kind of held it in there, and when it wasn't happening, you know what I'm saying? But I think there were people in my circle, in my world, that could have helped to push some of those things. And I will say this: you go through different ebbs and flows because what I've come to understand is that having an open heart and mind about what God can do to rebirth a thing in you is key. And I think that's something that you taught me because I kept, thinking that, my dream needed to happen a certain way. And if it didn't happen that way, I couldn't imagine, what God was going to do at that point because I only saw it. I educated myself a certain way. I educated myself toward a certain thing. My life experiences had all gone towards a certain thing. And so being open to hear, what God will say about the rebirth of a dream, I think is key.
Mhm.
And being open to a change in your perspective of what that dream needs to look like, because a lot of times we become tethered to the way we saw it. And sometimes the way you saw it may not be on the level that God even got desires to do it. He may have something much bigger for you. He
Exactly.
may have something much more profound for you. He may have, a different way for you to walk that you never even considered. So I think if, we're going to talk about, dreams and the rebirth of dreams and dreaming again and rediscovering, sometime a rediscovery means a different path.
Yeah.
And so just like if we drive to work or drive to the store, we take the same path, we see the same thing, we become, at the place where we don't even notice what's around us. But sometimes if you take a different path, you pick up different things on the way that can, although you land at the same type of destination, you may take a different road to get there. So that's just kind of where I see it as far as a rebirthing and a rediscovery of
Yeah,
dreams.
exactly. Yes. So
And
I,
Karen said something here too. You
mhm.
have to be selective about who you share your dreams with.
Yes, yes, you do. You do. You have to um, be very careful that you are sharing your dreams with people who, I think, people who care about you, people who who have your best interest at heart,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, and people who might sometimes might be able to contribute to helping
Right.
you develop those dreams.
Yeah,
So
and that's key. She's absolutely right because I think you have to know who God placed in your circle because everybody is not necessarily, in what they call not necessarily there for the right reasons, and knowing, who is there to support you and pull you up. And I think that is key. So that's a really good point, Karen. And here's another point: dreams don't die; we stop dreaming. How about that?
yeah, we do. We do. We stop. And I think we stop because of life. I think we stop because we don't think we're going to be able to attain it. Um, we stop for a lot of reasons, and it's not. Um, I think somewhere along the line we have to start dreaming again and start believing. I think dreaming and believing kind of go hand in hand for me, at least.
Hmm.
And you have to start believing that you can dream, that
Hmm.
it's not too late. I don't care
Yeah.
how old you are. I don't care how young you are. It's
Hmm.
never too late. You know,
I have a question about that. Do you agree that it's never too late?
I,
I
I,
think we might have mentioned that. Is it never too late? For those of you, it's about 5 or 6 or 7 y'all out there. Is it too late? Do you think it's ever too late for the realization of dreams? Do you think it's too late? What do you think?
I, I think I've gone back and forth on this. And I think you and I have, we've had our own pivot polls on this. Um, I think with some things it is.
Okay.
Uh,
Good things. All right, y'all. I want to hear from somebody out here. Do you
I
all
think
think we need this is a true pivot poll. Do you all think that uh I've got one, Paula Palmer Green and Reverend Paula, you never too old to be what you could have been. It's never, all right, Karen says it's never too late to realize a dream.
okay.
All right, so they are weighing in tonight. They say it's never too late to realize a dream, and you are never too old to be what you could have been. All right, so Heather,
You
how
know,
you feel?
I I, th- I I think that sometimes it is a little late. Um, I
Why? Okay,
do.
well, tell me why you feel that way. Why do you feel like it's
Okay.
too late?
Okay. Perfect example. I What about Colonel Sand? Oh, the
Yeah.
chicken guy. I like I had a okay. I decided I was going to do music. I had a CD. I had a concert. Everything was great. I ended up having back surgery. I had to stop it, and some other things got in the way. I'm now 47. Um, thank you, Karen. I don't have the same stamina I had, in 07, 08, 09. Um, so a lot of things have changed around that.
Yeah, but now we about to have a real pivot poll
So
tonight, and we
I
hadn't had
just
one of these
don't.
in a while.
So
And I'm not even feeling that good tonight. So y'all know I came on here in spite of because I wanted to honor being here. But let me say this though: is that really that is too? That's you. Is that? Wait a minute. I see Paula Palmer Green. Reverend Paula is saying you have you stopped dreaming?
I mean,
Because my thing is this. Because here's this, and I hear where that's coming from.
mhm,
Okay, let's deal with the singing thing. And this is how we do all the time. And this is how this show came to be right here.
here
Is
we
that with the singing, you're still a singer, you're still anointed, you still have a gift. You have decided you don't have the stamina, you have decided those things, but you can still realize that dream. Is that not a choice that you're necessarily making? not that it's too late, but you're making the choice not to pursue that. Would that be, how do you feel about that?
I believe that I am making the choice based off of um, some things that I believe are reality. Um,
Yes, she
uh,
is.
and but you said something key. It might not be how I thought it was going to be. So back in '08 and '09, I thought it was going to be a certain way. I thought it was going to look a certain way, and I thought I was going to be in a certain place, and that never happened.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I get that too. You're right. But see, Hera and I have had this personal. Okay, let me sit up in the camera here because my back is doing a thing. But let me say this: is that just disappointment, though?
I mean, at one point it was.
I mean, but when does it stop being disappointment?
Well, I
Because
think
it
it's
didn't work out the way you wanted it to.
right. So since it didn't work out the way that I wanted it to, and honestly, I haven't done anything to push it or to pursue it any
Mm-hmm.
further, a little bit here or there,
Mm-hmm.
then I have resolved that that is no longer a top dream of mine.
Okay.
So, and I've resolved that and I'm okay with that. A few years ago, I probably would not be able to sit here and say that I'm okay with that. But for me, I just, and maybe I don't know what you want to call it, but I just think maybe some dreams, like Karen said, some dreams need to be, realistic um, dreams. Um, and I don't know. I know we,
I agree with Karen, and this was Karen's comment because I think that Karen is on it when she says, now, depending on what the dream is, we need to be realistic. But I do not believe, fundamentally,
right.
I'm kind of going with this, Ray Kroc started McDonald's in 52. I'm
Yes.
kind of feeling like we have to be careful to exchange the choices that we're making
Hmm.
with the reality of it, of how realistic it is for us to accomplish a dream. So on one hand, we're saying where it's not really realistic, but it's not that, it's just we're making a choice. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying?
I see
And
what
I
you're saying.
feel like that's what I hear you saying. And I think lots of people do that. Because I mean, if we're gonna be real, I think a lot of people do that. I've done it. All right. See, Reverend Mama Paula is coming with all of the
She
statistics
is.
tonight. Mother
I
Teresa won
see.
the Nobel Peace Prize in 69. So basically, we know where Reverend Paula, we know what side you stand on. She's saying that we do have the ability, and I kind of tend to go with that. And I'm saying this. Sometimes it's that I think that's key. We've stopped dreaming. It's not necessarily that the dream is unrealistic. It's that you've stopped believing in your ability to obtain it, not that it couldn't be done. So that's kind of where my heart is. Because and I know that I'm having some delays, so I know my mouth is not going with it. And that is so annoying when I watch that on other broadcasts, but we've got some kind of technical difficulty going on. But let me say this. I honestly do believe that we have to decipher the difference, and we have to know the difference between the choices that we're making and how realistic it is, because a lot of things can be realistic and obtainable for us. Even me, if I wanted to go out here and start a ministry next week, I could. Okay. And God would probably anoint me to do so. But I have chosen a thing. You can choose and be claiming that the dream is dead. When the dream is not dead, you're choosing not to pursue that which you're dreaming. And so that's where I see it. That's where I see it. Because the reality, come on, Noel. I'm sorry, y'all done got me started. I wasn't even feeling good. So Noel said it's never too late to allow God to redirect, pivot your dream into how it will be best fit your present life. And that is key. That is so key. because God can use us. Like I done got stirred up and I may be healed right here on this show tonight in
Amen.
9 minutes
Amen.
and 46 seconds. But I just know that, here we go with let me just stay on what Noelle is saying. It's never too late to allow God to redirect that which you are dreaming, because, God's plans are yes and amen. God's plans are powerful. He knows the plans that he has for us, plans to prosper us, give us hope in a future. He wants to do great and mighty things in our lives. And honey, he gave you that voice and you're anointed. If you decided tomorrow you can pursue, I see nothing but manifestation and goodness for you.
That's
If
true.
you don't pursue that, that's on you. Now, come on, can we be real on the pivot
Now
pole?
that's true. That's
You
true.
don't pursue that, that's on you. And
Right.
and so we got to look at that. Nelson helped negotiate the end of the apartheid of 76.
He
Come
did.
on. Reverend Paula said, I got some statistics. Let me tell you, I just want to say a thing. Amen, Karen. Nelson Mandela, we knew exactly, if it is his will, he can do anything. Won't he do it? And
That's
that's
true.
key. That's key. And but I just want to even dig into that, because I wasn't going to say much tonight because I just really have not been well today. But God is a good God, and I just really hear this in my heart, is that, I spent a lot of time on this Karen Robertson. You hear
Hmm.
me saying this. I spent a lot of time going back and forth on, oh yes, this is getting good. These comments are getting good here, about it being his will, and, well, does God really want me to do that? Does God don't want me to do that? Maybe God don't want me to do that. God don't want me to do that. When God had given me all the equipment I needed to do everything he ever wanted me to do.
That's true.
And I always wanted not to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to get out here and be wrong. But here's the
Yeah.
thing: we have to enter into the place of faith to believe that which he placed in our heart, the passion that he's placed in our heart, the thing that makes your heart beat. Because I heard somebody say it's hard for people to describe what a purpose is, but it's easier for people to describe what a passion is, or what
Mm.
makes you feel alive when you do it. And I believe that has everything to do with what your DNA, your call, your purpose, your gift, your anointing is tied to. And I,
Yes.
and I really had to start looking at that. But I spent a lot of time hung up on, I just don't want to get it wrong. I just don't want to get it wrong, that I didn't become willing, as you said here, to do that which the Lord had placed a fire inside of my bones to do.
Hmm.
It wasn't nothing about the dream. It had everything to do with me and my
Exactly.
lack of willingness to follow through.
Yeah.
Come on now. Look at
Yeah.
Sarah. Okay, come on now. We're going to go through the Bible. We're going to go through all of the statistics. We're going to get y'all right on this show tonight. Thank you
Yes.
so
And
much,
yes.
Paula.
They
And Karen says he won't go against our will, and he will not.
won't.
He
Yeah.
can
He won't.
orchestrate some things to get your will in order too. I noticed I say that in the scriptures. He won't go against your will, but he will get some stuff in order to help you get your will together.
Yeah.
I've
This
seen
is
that
true.
happen. Come on. Because
I think. I mean, and I hear what you're saying. I
come
hear
on
whatever.
now.
I hear what you're saying.
Mhm.
And yes. So yeah, there's you have to be willing, and you have to believe, and you have to trust and know that whatever he placed inside of you, he placed it inside of you, and he didn't take it away from you. And it's always there, and you just have to, go through the motions of maybe dreaming again to believe that that it is still there and that you can still achieve it,
Yeah.
um, as long as God has placed it inside of you.
All right, here we go. I'm listening. Let's see what Karen has to say. I'm a self-proclaimed late bloomer, and those dreams I've had for years have been recurring, and they have not gone away. Right. And let me say this. This is so good, and Heather can attest to this. I have a notebook that I've been writing in since before my children were born.
Yep.
And I've kept it because it was a really nice notebook. I actually stole it from my husband. He said, "Oh, you just took my notebook." I did. And because it was a really nice notebook, I wrote in that notebook and I kept that notebook close. I don't care where we were going. I just always kept that notebook in my car, never let it get too far away from me. And I can tell you, over the past 24, 5 years, I have been writing the same visions in that black book for
Yeah.
25 years, off and
That's
on. I wouldn't go back to necessarily look at what I had written in the past, but as I went back to look at it and looked at all of it, it was the same vision, same purpose, same call, same passion over and over and over. And this is what she's talking about. I had to do something with it. Come
right.
on now. Isn't that what the Lord is calling for? That's the
Yeah.
truth. Same
Yeah.
vision, same
Yeah.
stuff. So that's
So
how you, it has a lot to do with how you know what's in there inside.
exactly. Exactly. So I've heard some people say if it keeps recurring for you, then you might need to stop and pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because that those things that keep coming up inside of you very well are the things that God placed inside of you. And those are the purpose. That's the purpose. And it could be the same purpose. And it's just, it takes time sometimes for us to align with that purpose. But yes, Andretta, I have seen that book, and she has. It is amazing to see
Mm-hmm.
how it's like you could follow it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same. It's the same thing and the same dreams and aspirations um, that she's had for 20 plus years. So,
Yeah.
uh, I noticed when I was doing some research on dreaming again and how to give life to your dreams again. I came across something from Joyce Meyer, and she mentioned put your expectation in God.
Mm-hmm.
So she was talking about when a woman is pregnant, she says she's expecting. And in the same way, we should posture ourselves the same way. God placed something inside of us, so we have an expectation. And sometimes when how I looked at this is sometimes when we think that your dreams are gone or forfeited or delayed,
Mm-hmm.
um, our expectations have diminished.
Absolutely.
And I know that I can speak to that truly. So she mentioned that, we should have an expectation. We should always have the faith and expectation that God is going to meet you where you need to be at that moment so that, that dream that you had can be rebirthed. She also mentioned maintaining a good attitude. And I looked at this and I was like, okay, good attitude. And I understood it. But how I interpreted it and how I looked at it was that, life can give us some ugly reflections in the mirror. And if you don't maintain a good attitude, not just about life, but about your relationship with God, even when things don't look like it looks like the dream has gone away, that matters. So maintaining a good attitude um, in the process of rediscovering your dreams is key. And then the third thing that she mentioned was living the dream. And you know, so often the dream she mentioned that dreams are about us. And what she was saying is that it's really not about us. It's about what God planted inside of us to give to the world, to give to our families, to give to our friends, to give to strangers. That's living the dream. It's not necessarily, the things. It's not the cars, the houses, the things that sometimes come with what the world standards are about dreams. But she said that, it's about what God placed inside of you and how when you start to rediscover what that is, that whatever he planted inside of you, it will help you to start dreaming again. So I found those three things very interesting when I started doing some research on how to dream again and taking back your dreams. So
Hmm.
it was kind of, yeah, it was very, very, very interesting to me.
Yeah, I want to jump in right here because I'm thinking, as I'm listening to this and I'm hearing everybody like commenting, and I'm thinking, and you said something about expectations, something about living the dream, and then it was something in the middle. I don't recall what that second one was or what the first one was. A lot of times what I'm hearing is all of this has everything to do with how we are and who we are. It's internal, it's an internal thing. Um, Responding to those dreams is an internal decision,
Hmm.
that it's not, going back to the dreams not dying, we just stopped dreaming comment that was made.
Hmm.
We've got to take ownership.
Hmm.
We've got to take ownership of where we are with our dreams.
Yeah.
We've got to take ownership. It's personal. It's your perspective. It's the way you think. It's the way you view life. It's your attitude, as you just said. It's your
Hmm.
decision making. It's your posture. It's your positioning. All of that has everything to do with realizing, rediscovering, living the dreams, the passions, the calls, the visions that you have within you. Because although I use the word dream, but I'm probably more tethered to words like calling and purpose, and they're weighty words.
Hmm.
Um, they're weighty words, and I'm not saying dream does not have its place. I believe it does. Um, but when you think about it from that perspective, I really think it tethers you to the place of response,
Hmm.
because now there's something on you that you're called to respond to.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, if there's a calling on your life, whether that be to sing, to preach, to play, to be a writer, to be an artist, to be an encourager, to be in the marketplace, whatever that might be, then what it does is it's a thing within you that's calling you to a place. And now the onus, the responsibility becomes yours
True.
to respond to that which is on your life.
Hmm.
And so I'm hearing a lot of personal accountability and responsibility as it pertains to rediscovering the things that God has placed inside of you. So that's kind
Yes.
of what I'm hearing for that.
Okay. Okay. And I think on to attach to that, or
Mhm.
to things that go along with that, is that in order to rediscover your dreams, you have to look back at what God gave you,
Mhm.
you know. And I think sometimes that's hard. I know for me, with all the things that were going on in my life, um I can be honest and say that there was a point where I didn't even want to look at it anymore. um, and I had to stop and say, okay, I need to look back at these gifts that God has given me and ask Him to speak life into them.
Mhm.
And once you do that, I think that's the first step, maybe, in rediscovering your dreams, and how to dream again. And then, of course, knowing that God hasn't forgotten you. He never forgets us. It
Mhm.
might feel like it, but He never forgets us.
Mhm.
Um, and ask Him to, reignite that fire within you. And maybe even that fire that you had when you were a kid. As children, we were innocent.
Mhm.
Um, we most children grew up, most people grew up and could dream, and then there's some things happen to people, and then you know that kind of shuts down sometimes. But it's okay to know that God didn't he he's never forgotten you, and that He's always here and always there to reignite that thing that He placed inside, the thing or the things
Mhm.
that He placed inside of you.
Mhm.
Um, and I think in this day and age and time, it's important for us to rediscover what it is that He placed inside of us.
Mhm.
I really think it is, now more than ever. So Karen said, God doesn't forget about us. That is so reassuring. We just have to revisit the vision and ask for clarity. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And just like Andretta said, it might not be exactly what you thought it was going to be, but the vision is still there, and you ask for the clarity, and God will give it. He definitely will give it to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, this topic can be, it could go on and on. It could be very big. um, but I think for me um, in this topic, it especially since this is the pivot poll, and we do like to hear what others have to say about
Mhm.
things. I think this topic is one that you have to sit with um, once you're ready to actually rediscover, for those who need to rediscover what that is, whatever that is that God placed inside of you. Um, I think it's one of those topics that you have to sit with and ask God to reveal to you, um, so that you can get the understanding, you can get the healing. Because if you believe that your dreams are dead, and you believe that God has forgotten you, then you have to be healed from that in order for God to then help you rediscover what He placed inside of you anyway in the beginning. Um,
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
makes you be honest with yourself and ask tough questions, yes. And I will say, I don't like asking myself tough questions. Andretta knows this. I don't like it. Um, but I know that they're important. It's important for you to ask those tough questions in order for you to move, in order to be, and in order to to progress through life.
I want to say something too, Heather. This is really good. The topic about rediscovering dreams and rediscovering that which the Lord has placed inside of you. And I will say this: what I'm discovering as I rediscover the path to, you know, doing that, being obedient and doing that which the Lord has said for me to do,
Hmm.
is that, you know what? Joyce Meyer used to say something that says, do it afraid, you
Hmm.
know, do it imperfect, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You have to, because some of us suffer from that need to have everything in perfect order, spirit. And so a lot of times you stop short of doing and manifesting that which you need to. But I would encourage anybody who's on the line, if you have something in your heart that the Lord has really been placed there, it's a recurring thing for you, yeah, try badly is my motto. I agree with that. Like, I'm just getting to that point, Karen, in my life where, you know, because I've always been able to do things for other people as far as ministries are concerned. I've been in ministry too long. So, I've done lots of things in that way. But when it came to me, I was always like, well, I mean, I really, you got all these reasons. And what is the quote? I wish I understood the quote that I want to say right now that I've heard several times, but I'll bring it up later if it comes to me. But go for it.
Hmm.
Okay, write the book, and I sound like Reverend Paula Palmer Green if she's still on here
You
listening.
do, you do, you do.
Reverend Paula Palmer Green on here.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
write the book, do the things that God has called you to do, no matter what. It may not be perfect from
Right.
the beginning. It may not, there it is, 50 million reasons for failure, but not one single excuse. She has said that to me so many times, 50 million reasons for failure, but not one single excuse.
Hmm.
And that's the thing about it is, let's stop making all of these reasons for why we're not doing that which we're rediscovering. Because rediscovery is one thing, but manifestation is quite another.
It is.
And we're walking into the place to do that which God has called you to do. Do it, do it, sis. Like she said, do it, sis. If your brother's on the line, my brother, do it. Because here's the thing: Once you get to that threshold of pushing past that place, it's like you bring down a mountain in your life and then manifestation becomes your portion.
Yeah,
You
that's
know, but
right.
there's not a single person who's done anything who didn't have to push past the thing of doing it first.
That's
You know
true.
what I mean? And so as you're rediscovering, may I encourage you to just do. And I don't mean do something haphazardly or try, but put your effort in, whatever that is. Use the money you have, however much that is. You know, jump in there and manifest to the best of your personal ability. And I just believe God honors that.
He
He
does.
honors that ability to put it out there. You know, I want to empty these dreams out. I've wasted enough. Come on now.
Yeah.
And sometimes this is another part of this whole rediscovery thing. You know, I'm like, if I thought now,
Mm.
if I thought the way I do now, back when I was like 22, oh, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But it's like you come to this realization, like, wait a minute, I can't keep on wasting time forever. You know, how much more, you don't know how much time you have. You don't know when, you have to get into that place where you understand it's time. It is
Yeah.
time to do that which, laying around, sitting around, looking, gawking, being mad, disappointed, making excuses. That's no longer the place we can walk in. We have to walk in the place of doing that which we're supposed to be doing, being obedient.
Exactly.
And I believe that because I do believe we're responding to something more than we're creating something. That's just how I feel about dreams and stuff. I believe God plants those things in us and we respond appropriately. But I just say that to you all, do it. Don't worry about what people think about it. They ain't doing it no way. Most of the time, I saw a quote: "The people who gonna criticize you the most are the people who doing less than what you're doing."
That's
And so
right.
at the end of the day, let them criticize, let them talk. Because I heard somebody say, you don't make it until somebody criticizing you anyway. And so
Mm.
what that means is that you out there for to be criticized. You're out there to be talked about, which means you're manifesting. So at the end of the day, make it happen. Do it and do it well and do it afraid or do it whatever you got to do, but do it.
Yeah.
So that's all I would like to say as it pertains to this rediscovery. There's so many branches to this, but as
Hmm.
as it relates to the rediscovering, once you do and you get that inkling or you already know what it is, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
What is Karen saying?
I am still being delivered from being angry at myself for seeing others walking in the things that I dreamed about doing. Come on,
Can I
Karen.
point at the camera? Karen now.
All right.
Karen, we needed you on here tonight, didn't we? This
Yes.
is good. That's so true because you can't be mad at what you didn't choose to do. You know
That's
what
right.
I'm saying? And a lot of times you're just like, wow, look at what they did. And you realize that you carry the same anointing, same potential, and sometimes greater. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes greater anointing, greater potential, greater insight, greater strategy, greater wisdom, greater
Mhm.
gifting. And somebody else done took their little thing and their little two little talents and then went and did their thing and they now they got 25 and you like, okay, well, how is that? But at the
Exactly.
end of the day, you're absolutely telling the truth, and that's the realness right there that people
Yeah.
don't like to talk about.
Yeah.
Come on now, and it's time. But what is a greater anointing if you ain't gonna do nothing with it?
You're right. Now you're right about that. Now y'all preaching tonight. Y'all, you
Go ahead
have.
and holler, Karen. Karen, holler now. I can't laugh right now, y'all.
Know, right? Woo. You are y'all. You telling the truth. You telling the truth. You are definitely telling the truth. So
Hmm.
I think in um in order to wrap this topic up
Yes, yes,
as
please
we
do.
as we wrap things up, um, it's just important to know. I think that you do have a dream. God planted something inside of you, and whatever that is that He planted inside of you,
Yes.
get quiet and get with the Father and have a conversation, however that conversation needs to look, so
Hmm.
that you can then rediscover whatever it is that He planted inside of you. And trust and know and believe that
Right.
He has not left you, He has not
Yes.
failed you, and
Hmm.
you do have the ability to dream again.
Hmm. Absolutely.
You have the ability to dream again. So, Andrea and I we've been doing this for how long? It seems like for a long time, but I know it
Mhm.
has. been? A few months, maybe, give or take.
It's been longer than a few months.
Yeah.
But yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So, we have decided that, we're going to, as this show grows and this our content grows, we've decided that we're going to have the pivot poll every other week now, instead of every week. And we are planning new topics and new pivot polls for our show. And we are really pleased to announce and talk about what's going to happen in October.
Hmm.
Um, Andretta and I are going to dedicate the month of October. We have two, maybe three
Just
Fridays,
two.
two, right? Two Fridays, and we're dedicating it to Breast Cancer Awareness and Support Month. And we have a lot of things planned. We've got a doctor that's going to come on, an expert that's going to come on and talk. We've got some survivors
Hmm.
of breast cancer that are going to come on and talk. And Andretta and I are going to do a walk and pray challenge.
Hmm.
And what that is that, we're just every day we're going um to walk and pray and ask God to bless and heal those who um are dealing with breast cancer right now, have family members who are uh fighting for their lives, or dealing with breast cancer, and then how it's affected, how it affects them and how it affects their loved ones. So we are really happy about what's going to happen in October. So we hope that you join us, and be with us during that month. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me throw this in at you guys because I want to make sure you guys understand and you'll see the announcements that are going to come out on the pivot poll. So look out for our page, the walk challenge, where we will be walking every day, and we're going to challenge you guys to walk every day. I know they have a lot of challenges out. Walk challenges are like 60 miles, 65 miles, all of that, and it's great opportunities for you guys to get involved. And for those of you who do, that's awesome. I encourage you, those of you who desire to, but we wanted to post our own challenge to those of you who may view with us, or for those of you who may want to share it with your family and friends, as well as kind of getting out there if the fall is coming around. I like walking during the fall. It's nice and crisp out. So we'll be posing this challenge to you guys to join us starting October the 1st, to get involved in the walk challenge. And you can walk. That's going to be stringent for those of you who do. You can take your pictures, tag us if you like, and just put on your pink, something pink. We'll be wearing our pink t-shirts and demonstrating our support for Breast Cancer Awareness and Support Month. And you can walk as long as you want. Just walk every day and spend some time praying, because how many know prayer changes things? Prayer can bring about change. It can bring about healing. It can bring about a lot of good for those who are walking through and those who need the support. So I just wanted to be aware. Did you see that?
Yes.
I'm like, am I the only one here? So we just want you guys to know exactly what that is, and to let you know that we are challenging you all. Challenge someone on your end. And I see Karen is challenging someone.
All
Let's
right.
get together and walk and support and pray, because I believe prayer is powerful. I got prayed for today and I was not feeling good at all. And I believe that those who prayed for me brought about some changes in my physical health that maybe otherwise I would have been struggling through. So I thank God, and I believe and trust in prayer. So what we want to do is to spend time interceding during those walks, hearing from Holy Spirit, and just communing with Him in that way. So you guys don't miss it. We're going to be on here. Thank you so much, Karen. We're going to be on here and we're going to be challenging you all. We're going to be informing you guys. and the month of October. So check us out. It's going to be exciting. We're going to also in November, we've got great plans for November as well. We're going to be doing some volunteer events for those of you who want to join us for those volunteer events. So we're going to do all of that. And we just want you guys to know we'll be on here every other week so that you guys can join us and kind of know what schedule we're on. We started out once a week, but we're mothers, we work. We want to make sure that we are doing all the things to support our lives as well as yours. And so we really thought every other week would be perfect for us and give us an opportunity to give you guys great content and just do everything that God wants us to do. So, yep, that's it.
Yay. All righty. So, thank you again for joining the Pivot Poll tonight. Andretta and I really do appreciate everyone who joins us either live or on repeat or with the replay, as they say. So, we just thank you and God bless you, and we will see you next time. Bye bye.
God bless you all.